Hi, my name is Ralph Abernathy. I was born on March 11, 1926.
Where did you grow up and how was your childhood?
I grew up in Linden, Alabama. I was 10 of 12 children. My parents were Levery Abernathy and William Abernathy, a farmer and a deacon.
What did you do before you became a pastor?
Well, actually, upon graduating from high school, I was drafted into the Army. During World War II, subsequently, I left my family on a 500-acre farm. After my military service in 1948, I became a minister, pursuing my education. I earned a degree in mathematics at the Alabama State College in 1950. I received a master's degree in sociology from Atlanta University. The following year, I became a pastor at the First Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, and the dean of students at Alabama State. I married Juanita Odessa Jones and had 2 children together. The danger of this didn't deter me. In 1957, me and King helped found the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the most prominent of civil rights organizations in the South. Me and Martin Luther King Jr. was the president, and I was the vice president. A few years later, I hosted a rally for the Freedom Riders, black and white activists who traveled by bus to protest against segregation in the South.
What did you help with in the civil rights movement?
Well, in 1955, I helped an African-American seamstress from Montgomery named Rosa Parks relinquish her bus. She refused to give up her bus seat to a white passenger, and she was arrested and later fined. This began an important historic phase in the civil rights movement. Because she had not given up her seat, this led to the Montgomery bus boycotts, and this led to help get more rights and people to be able to ride the buses without having to give up their seats, and it was not so segregated. And there were church ministers that helped. The NAACP began the bus boycotts, and the African Americans were treated better, and the ministers formed the Montgomery Improvement Association, a name that I came up with to coordinate the boycott. We voted Martin Luther King Jr., the president of this association, and the MIA, the Montgomery Improvement Association, convinced African taxi cab drivers to take African workers to their jobs for a 10-cent fare so that they could get there and work. And when the city government declared that practice illegal, those with cars formed carpools so the boycotters wouldn't have to return to the buses. After 381 days, the boycott had was over, and a decision was formed by the United States District Court during 1956. Well, during 1956, me and King had been in jail and court, and toward the end of the boycott on January 10, 1957, Abernathy's, my home, Ralph Abernathy, was bombed, and by the time the boycott was over, it had attracted national and international attention. And it was televised reports of activities of the MIA encouraged African American protesters all over the South.
What other steps did you take to get racial equality?
Me and King worked together within the MIA, and we were civil rights partners, and we sealed we had a really close friendship, and it lasted until his assassination in 1968. And soon after the boycott, we met with African American clergymen in Atlanta from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the SCLC, and press for civil rights in all areas of life. King was elected president, and I was the secretary-treasurer. This group began to plan coordinated civil rights movement throughout the South. The ultimate purpose of which would be to end segregation and to hasten the enactment of federal civil rights movements.
What was your relationship like with Martin Luther King Jr.?
We formed the SCLC together, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which attempted to see desegregation movement in Albany, Georgia, in the South in December 1961, but it was not effective. Me and King were arrested during our Albany demonstration, but we were quickly released because they didn't want to draw attention to their town. But our friendship was very close, and until his death in 1968 when he was assassinated, and I passed away on April 17, 1990.